everyone. So glad you're joining us today for the fourth session of our What's New in Solid Edge ST8 series, Weldment Design. My name is Diana Dietrich. I'm the marketing specialist here at Swish Technologies, and I will be your moderator for the day. Just a little bit about Swish Technologies. We've been a leading provider and partner of Siemens PLM software for over 10 years and headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri. Our team is dedicated in providing you the best training, support, and software, including NX, Team Center, Solid Edge, and SMAP 3D plant design necessary to accelerate productivity in your processes. Also, we pride ourselves in delivering process-based training solutions tailored to fit your company's needs. With our educational training services, our goal is to make you a leader in your field while staying ahead of the competition. Joining us today is application engineer Dale Duell. Dale is a certified Solid Edge professional and trainer. He has supported, trained, and demonstrated Solid Edge to more than 1,500 students across America and is the author of several custom Solid Edge manuals that are used around the world. Our agenda for the day is on weldment design, where Dale will cover topics in the subject including angled planes, part weldment, and property filters. Following a brief history of the topic, Dale will be providing a demonstration within Solid Edge ST8. We will then end with our Q&A session, so if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to add these into the questions box located in your GoToWebinar control panel. Dale will have your questions answered following the demonstration. All right, Dale, take it away.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot. Yep, today, as Diana said, we're going to look at angled planes, part weldment, and property filters. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And these are just a few of these small, quick topics that we can talk about. Some are new in ST8. Some are just good practice that I think needs to be brought up from time to time, just in case you forgot or in case you've never seen it. The first thing we'll talk about is what's new in ST8, though. We'll talk about the new angled plane enhancement, if you will. Previously, when we wanted to make an angled plane, say between this top and this front plane, we would have to be very careful how we pick that. We picked it at this origin. We might get the origin we want. We might get it to the origin to be backwards, and it was very dynamic as it went. And previously to ST8, what I always did was I would take, say like on this right plane over here, I'd draw a circle and then I'd make a plane normal to that curve and then make that plane come up and do what I needed it to do. Well, we don't need to do that anymore. The angled plane has been greatly enhanced. So as you see this, I just want to make an angled plane, and all I do is just pick this top, and that top there is going to represent the origin, the XY, in case you've not known that, but the XY, that's going to indicate that origin. And then pick a plane here. So let's go do that again once I stop talking. How about that? So we'll do an angled plane from here to here. And you immediately get that angled plane coming around now. But more importantly, what you get is the plane in that correct orientation. So as I come around, you see that that top plane that was there, X and Y in the far left-hand corner, I'm going to still get that XY over there. Now that's a great benefit for the user as I have this. So we'll just set this at 45 degrees and just let it set right like that. Now, the other thing about this idea is the ability to look at face. So previously to version 8, when you came over here and made a section cut, all you're doing was just making a section cut, and the exposed cut face was not really a face. You couldn't say, I want to work off of this face, or I want to look at this face. You couldn't do that. So now in ST8, if I make a section off of this angled plane, okay, and we'll just put it something like here. Just put a line right here. Okay. As I put that line and I go to make a section, I can take that section right off of there and just start to cut through. We'll cut all the way through and have it cut through. Now when I'm here to work on a part, all I have to do is just go to my PMI, or excuse me, to my view, and then just say look at face, and I actually can now pick that face. Now that seems like a small deal, but if you can't do that, I mean, that turns to be a little bit of frustration. We're like, where do I put that plane? How do I get this set? That type of thing. Now all you have to do is just say, just simply look at face, but now I can look at face with the, after I make a PMI section. PMI section, if you've not used it before, it's just a regular section. We haven't cut the part. We've just decided to slice it there just like we would in drafting, and remove half of that so we can see this this profile. So that is new now, the ability to make a better angled plane than what we had. And then the second thing, excuse me, the second thing is to be able to look and to select that cut face that we've exposed. That is new, just a little enhancement, but makes it much easier to work with. And again, a lot of these enhancements are user request. Maybe the developers don't know there's a problem, or don't know what you want until you tell them. So we encourage you, call us here at Swoosh or call GTAC. We'd prefer you call us at Swoosh, our support line, and then we'll make sure some of this stuff gets in the program. Okay, so that is angled plane and look at face. We could look at face before, but not look at the exposed face that we had just cut. So we can do that now. So good stuff there. All right, now let's open another set of file, and let's go talk about duplicate parts and weldments. And I'm going to take this work stand, and I just want to show you how easy this starts to be. This is a wonderful improvement. So I'm going to take this handle. This handle goes to a work stand. I'm going to go back and sort of reinforce what we talked about last week. So this handle here is part of that work stand, and I'm simply going to go and say, I want to see my top level. Where is that knob used, or that handle used? And it's used up here in this work stand. So I'm going to open that work stand, and just to back up and to show you some of the things in case you haven't seen this on last week, I'm going to take this and I'm going to use that repair missing files. We talked about it last week, but the repair missing files is an enhancement new to ST8, where prior to that we'd have to say, oh, there's a part missing, and you go, okay, I got to go fix that. Now we can fix that right here just by saying, I want to take that part that's missing, and I'm going to go browse for that part. So I'm going to look and just say, I'll do it out in the What's New folder, and I'll say search and replace. Just that quickly, it's going to search about, that folder is about 3 gig, but it's going to go search all of that and find that and replace that missing stand that that it was showing. Now, a couple other enhancements I want you to see. I've got all of my reflections and my sharpness and everything on. I want a pretty slick image for this. I don't have to have it this way. I can obviously work down in gray background, no shadows, everything like that, but it shows a little bit better if I do it this way. But I want you to see the reflection floor down here. Now that seems like, if you follow my cursor, that seems like a generally good idea, that reflection floor is down there. I mean, after all, that's the floor, right? So it's like we wax the floor. But new in ST8, that reflection plane actually follows the bottom of the part that it sees. So I want to show you this real quickly, and I'll just take and just say window, like this bracket, and this little piece of pipe. And before I do, I got a little slightly ahead of myself. I want to go over to Home, and I want to talk about configurations. There's nothing new in configurations in ST8, but there's a lot of stuff that people don't use in configuration, so it's worth covering. I'll go to my configurations, and I'll take a snapshot, and that just tells Solid Edge to remember what's on this screen. Just remember what's on this screen, because now I want to come over here and just work with this bracket and this pipe, or this tube here. I'll just right-click and I'll say Show Only. So I want to work with that. So that's going to go away, but now remember this. Look at the reflection. The reflection is now on the last piece. So if I wanted to go take a picture of this right now and send it to my customer, I wouldn't have a reflection that's 3 feet down on the floor there. I'd have a reflection that's right under that part. So this is a good enhancement, a good photo realistic enhancement that gives us a little bit a better picture as we go through. So I want to talk about Weldment as a part. This is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to, but I think you're going to like it. I think I'm going to, if we can, I can almost, I'll hear the applause at the end. But I want to talk about Weldment as a part. So the Weldment beads now can actually be their own part. And instead of going through the assembly and trying to weld and everything, or not calling them out at all because they're just too time-consuming to call them all out, I can actually create a part now that represents that weld. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to create a part in place, and it doesn't matter if it's anchored or not, or where its origin is. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call it Weld 45, okay? And it can be anything that we want, but I'm going to create a weld, and it's right over here in ordered and synchronous, but it's right underneath my additional sweeps and lofts. I'm going to say fillet weld. So there's two kinds, groove weld and fillet weld. You're not going to see a lot of stitching and things like that. If you want to do that, you should do that, you know, up in the assembly. But fillet and groove. So I'm just going to say fillet, and if you can fill out this chart, that's fine. Okay, and we've all seen this chart. Most engineers I know don't do that. Weld people, they know this, but you know, basically we say 3/8 all the way around, or stitch and skip the first 3 inches and then start stitching, all that kind of stuff. All I'm really worried about is my fillet weld, and I'm going to say that it's 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and it's going to be between this piece and this piece. So notice I'm accepting, let's go back here real quickly. Notice I'm accepting that. We'll go fillet weld, 1/8 of an inch, and I want to make sure I get the right thing, is what I want. There you go. So solid edge is going to wrap that bead right around there. So we don't need to know, as designers, we don't need to know anything else about this weldment, you know, this weld tool, other than, hey, you're going to have to weld that, right? That's all we're saying. You have to weld that. I'm thinking 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So let's do that again, and this time let's just repeat it and set it up here just like we would Smart Step ribbon bar with any offset, any a copy move so far. You know, just look at this, and I'm just set it right up here, and I'll say 1/32 of an inch between this surface and this in the same selection. Here's my 2 little gusset pieces, and as I do, we'll just have solid edge put our bead all the way around there. Now, just a quick shortcut button. You'll see that this is the part. This is the actual part right here. And I'll go to View. I'll go to my part painter, and we'll say Red Body. And you can have it anything you like, but all I got to do is window over those and close that. So this is my weld bead as a part. Now, why is that important? Well, if I go back up to the top side now, and I come back to my configurations, and I say Restore Snapshot, it's going to restore what was on that screen before I left to do weldment. You say, where's the weld? The weld was down here. It wasn't in the snapshot, right? So I'm just going to turn that weld on. And now I'm going to do duplicate component. We learned about that last week, and there's a question came up last week, and I want to answer that. So duplicate component, I want to take this weld, and I want to pair it with this bracket, okay? And then I want to set this, maybe not this one, but I'll pick these individually. So I want to set those in, set the weld in there, and I'll have the weld, because it's a part, it can now be duplicated everywhere. So think about that. You know, you've got these little brackets and you're welding them in place. Well, we spent a little bit of time showing the bead. Just say everywhere there's this bracket, everywhere there's this bearing journal, everywhere there's this leg, go set this weldment. And we just go click, 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 and all the way down. Now, if it's 6 weeks later or 6 minutes later and we don't know what we've done, all I have to do is take that duplicate components, and it's a pattern. I want to edit that component, and just like everything else, I'm going to tell it where all it should have been. So 1, 2, 3, I'm going to go pick this one right there and have it go right around there. So weldment is a part. I like it. I like it. I've been waiting for that. I think this is a great feature. Weldment as a part. That part has weight. It can be duplicated. It can be patterned. It can be hidden. We can show it in configurations or not. We can do anything we want to with it because now it's a part. And this is a great way just to get an engineering bead out there, and then we can continue on with our designing. Now, we'll shift gears on this third thing, the third and last thing we want to talk about. And this is not necessarily new inside of Solid Edge, but it is often ignored. And so I wanted to bring this up just while I sort of had the podium. So I want to talk about properties. Now, I've got this, my solid edge options, say that 3 times fast. I've got my options set so that every time I save my file, I'm going to be prompted for my properties. Now, if you think that Solid Edge, if you think about Solid Edge being a three-legged stool, okay, and that is, I can take that, now let's go back around. I'm just going to make something here just for the fun of it. I can take something like this and think of a three-legged stool. So one is the properties, or one is the graphics, okay? So if I look at this, you know, here's the graphics, and the graphics are up here. So there I have the graphics. You know, this is going to be the shape, square, round, triangular. And then the other is the file properties. Where is this file being used? Where is it? You know, what folder is it in? What's its link? What's its parent? You know, what's its child? Where is it used? That type of thing. So we can see those types of things going on with the graphics, the file properties, and then the third leg of that stool. Excuse me 1 second. Technical difficulty. So the other thing we can see now, we want to talk about is the file properties. So I'll just take something like this, no big deal, and just show you how easy it is. Out inside of Synchronous, I'll take this shape, drop it down here to its axis, and then just start rotating that shape right around. I mean, just as easy as pie, right? So just that quickly, I've got some sort of insulator or some sort of piece that I want, some sort of cushion that I want. The second I save this, up come my properties. And you probably know that, right? And you've been doing it for a while, you know that. That you got to give it a title, an author, a company, keywords. And these things help fill out the bill of materials. These things help fill out the draft. But I don't think you know or that you use what you're about to see next here. So those properties are just as important as anything else. What shape is it is just as important as when did we get it? When are we shipping it? When was it inspected? Why did we build it? Right? Where did we store it? You know, that type of thing. All of those W questions are answered by the properties. Okay? If you don't know that, you're just looking at this, you don't know if it's a concrete planter out by the mall, or if it's a tiny earplug that we're designing to go at the end of our earbuds. You don't know any of that until we start to fill out those properties, okay? So let's look at the idea of properties in the same manner here. And I want to open a property filter. And again, I want to use this top level. I'll just pick this assembly. It looks like a shock absorber of some sort. I want to come down and just say top level, and it's going to find that top assembly. Now here's a good use for that top level, because you see the ST8 that really doesn't say what it is, okay? You know, of course, we number our files and you know, for storage sake and moving around and everything, but it didn't really say what it is. So without even knowing what it is, I just go to that top level and say, show me your top level. Let's open this thing out on the top level. It's going to take a minute to load because I've got it all active. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm opening a motorcycle, and that's that top level where the shock absorber was sitting. Now, I want to go over and talk about the property filter, okay? And I'm going to go use my select tool. A lot of people don't think of this when they see the solid edge. They wonder what all these little icons over here on the left-hand side are. One of those is the select tool. So I'm going to select tool. I'm going to use select, and here I can create zones and filter by properties. All right, and these are called queries. So I'm going to go take and show you how this works. I've already got two set up, and then I'll show you how to set them up. So I can actually filter my assembly now by the category. The category for me is purchase. So as I look at this and double click, I can find all of the parts that are going to be purchased on this. If I come back and I can say, let me see all the pieces that are going to the mold shop. Right? So it's going to show that. It's not a configuration. I didn't hide and wonder what, you know, and then bring it back and then reset a configuration. I simply said, I want to see everything that is going to the mold shop, or I want to see everything that has been given the property of purchased. And it's going to go find all of that. So these are the queries that we can set up. I'm going to set up a new one and just create a new query. And I'm going to say, weld. Show me everything that is going to be welded. So we'll go down to our property. We'll go to our category, and our category contains the word or the value weld. Could be Joe's Weld Shop. It could be weld at night. It could be sent to out for bidding for weld. It could be anything, but as long as it contains that. And the condition here is contains, is exactly, or is not. So get rid of everything that's not welded. Boom, it's going to go away, and then we can work on that. But I'm going to say it contains weld, and I'll add to that list. And I'll just say OK. On the left-hand side, you'll see now that I've got another search out here, another filter for weld. So I'm just double-click, and it's going to show me only the weld, or it's going to highlight the weld. As I right-click, I can just say, I don't know, maybe show only. And I can start to see only the parts that are weld. This isn't a configuration, because as I come back, and I'll lock this a little bit, as I come back, I'm going to come up to the top and then just say show again. I can reset that configuration. Now, I'm going to do a couple things with this just so you can see how handy this is. I'm going to just double click on that mold, or excuse me, on the weld. We'll clear it, go to the weld, and I'm just going to look at the things that are on this weld, right? And I've got a couple other pieces that are obvious that they need to go on the weld. No problem whatsoever. I'll just take one here. I'll just take this piece, we'll clear it. There we go. I'll just take this little ear right here. I'm going to right-click on that piece, and I'll go to my File Properties. When I go to my File Properties, I'll just go to Summary, and there's that category, and I've already got these pre-selected or pre-filled. We can show you how to do this, but I'm just going to say this goes to the weld. And we'll say OK, and then I will save that assembly. So now that I do that, we're just going to refresh all that information. So when I click on weld again, go clear that. There you go. I go click on the purchase, I'll see that. When I double click on the weld, I'll now see that that ear has been added, this one right here where my cursor is, has been added to the weld set, and the filter picks that up. Okay, so some practical applications of that. You can see all the things you want, that only that involves your job. Show me only the things that are going to the mold. Show me only the things that are going to be welded. Anything like that. The other practical application is I'm just going to take something like this, and let's just take what's going to the mold shop. So it's going to pick everything. I will say show only. Okay, so here's just what's going to the mold shop. Isn't that cool? I mean, just to be able to filter through your assemblies just like that. And then I'll go over to my face overrides, or my part painter, if you will, my face overrides, and I'll just come down. We'll come all the way to the bottom, and we'll say white glass. Okay, and we'll just pick. I'll hold down Control. Just pick through these pieces here, and you might as well. So all of this is going to be white glass. Okay. Isn't that cool? Here we go. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to say show, just like I did before. How's that look? See, much, much easier for me to be able to pick large groups of, product. Simply, I'm going to just turn this around, right? Leave it right like that, just so you can see that. So I can pick large groups of casing. Make that the set. I have a little trouble time making that set. Set, please. Wow, we got something happened there. But I can set that out there. Sorry about that, but I can set that out, and I've got a whole group that's the mold shop that is now, a glass, so we can see through it. Now, the point of it is, if someone comes along later on and makes another part and says that it's part of that mold shop package or the weldment, then all I have to do, is when I filter it, it'll show up again. Or we got another purchase part, it'll show up there. So really good ideas, simple ideas. This is not necessarily new in ST8, but I see a lot of customers who could use this that don't, and I think they don't know about it, and I wanted to take that time. So super. That's what I've got for today. Just real quick, I kind of got a little wordy there, but I'll turn it back over to you, Diana.
We have two questions in our questions queue. So the first one is there a list of what's new?
There is. If you'll simply go to, just click and just go to F1, that begins your help. That's what's new in Solid Edge ST8. It's about a, I don't know, 50, 60 page PDF. You can get it from here. You can go to GTAC, download it as a document, or my favorite is you can call us or email us, and we'll send it to you already. So all you got to do is just say, hey, Dale, send me the PDF of what's new, and you can get that. Cool. Next, any other questions?
So we have one that just came in. Is the property seeds just a list?
It is what we used to call a flat file. So it's a text file that the property seed draws off of. So you can add anything that you like, and that's what draws this. We'll go back to new part just for 1 second. So I'm just going to go back to my new part. And if I were to come over, because of that prop seed file, if I were to come over and go to properties and go to file properties, and this is a bracket, and Dale made it, and Bob's my manager, and that type of thing. When I come down to this category, those are already here waiting for me. So that prop seed file is a text file that feeds these choices, and it's sort of like a pull-down list in Excel. But that's a good question. Yeah, but yes, it's just a flat text list that you can put anything that you want to.
Okay, and it looks like we have one final question. Is update training available?
Yes, it is. You can have update through us over the internet if you like. You can have it, I would say, 3-4 hours at a time, something like that, that we can do. We also can take it local to you. Have a salesman involved in a purchase order and that type of thing. But we can come to you, do the training. We can do it for 1 day. We can do it for 5 days. It doesn't matter. Just so you know, the AEs, we talked about this, but the AEs, we all go down to Huntsville for a week. So it's impossible over even 5 half-hour sessions to tell you everything that's new inside of the program. But we certainly can do that for you, and we can tell you how it helps your business too.
Great, thanks so much, Dale. So unfortunately, we are out of time for the afternoon. Well, actually, we actually just had one more question pop in. Dale, is it all right if we answer this one real quick?
No, we're out of time. No, go ahead.
All right, so you're a lucky person who just asked the question. Is there a way to move derived units into the base units?
Send me that question in an email. I want to see exactly what you're saying.
Okay, all right, I will.
I want to make it happen. I just want to, yeah, I want to make it happen. I just want to see exactly what it is that we're doing. But yeah, I mean, the answer is, if there's not a way, we'll make a way, and if there is a way, we'll find a way. So the point of it is send me more details, and I will gladly work that out for you.
Okay. All right. So we want to be able to make sure that if you have any other questions that do arise about today's topic or other previous topics, that you have the right contacts to go to. So if you have any questions relating to utilizing the program tool, please feel free to reach out to Dale by phone or by email. Dale, if you could switch over to the contact us slide.
Thing.
Okay, so there you'll see Dale's contact information. He's more than happy to help you out with just further learning about the program and everything. Or please reach out to your Swish sales representative for further information. If you don't have a sales representative with Swish, please feel free to reach out to me, Diana, and I'll direct you to our sales manager here at Swish. Once again, thank you so much for attending Weldment Design. We hope you can join us for the next installment in our series, Draft Multi-BOM. It's going to be on Wednesday, October 14th at 2 p.m. Central Time. So if you haven't registered for it yet, please be sure to do so in the email invitation that was sent, or by going to the official series page, which is found right on the screen. And we hope to see you next week. All right, have a good day. Bye, guys.